Ha! I told y'all I was going to catch up, didn't I? All right, so this is Vlogmas for day number 8. We have been doing this Vlogmas for the month of December, starting on January 1, all the way to, not January 1, December 1, trying to get all the way down to the 31st. And so this is my day number 8. This is what we're going to talk about today. As you saw in the title, we're going to talk about how you can have a multi-camera live stream on the cheap-ish. So I'm going to the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the different cameras that we have here, and let's do this. Let's go first to camera number 2, which is right here. So, well, let's go back to number 1. So this camera is my main camera. This is a Canon 80D, and it is, at the moment, it is sporting a Tamron 2470, 24 to 70 millimeter 2.8. It's the G2 lens that Tamron makes. And so that's my main camera. It's set up right behind me. It's in a set up just over top of the monitor and just to the right. At some point I want to set it up just a little differently so that I've got a better angle at it, but this is the main camera. This is the money maker. So not the money maker, the money spender that I spend a whole lot of money on. The camera itself I got maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Got it for about $1,100, $1,200, somewhere in there with a kit. Did not come with that lens. That Tamron lens runs about $1,100, $1,200. The lens was probably just as expensive as the camera itself. But so there's money in that. Now, most of you have already figured out that you can do some live streams with some fairly cheap cameras. Your entry-level mirrorless cameras, if you're a Canon shooter, like your M50, much cheaper than what this Canon 80D was, at least when it was first released. So let's go to the next camera, show you what that one is. So we're using Ecamm here. We're just going to switch over. This camera right here, didn't pay anything for this, kind of. Actually, I paid about, a good amount of money for this camera, except that this camera came with the computer, because this camera is the camera that is in the lid of my laptop. So with that camera, I did not really spend any extra money for the camera itself because it comes as a part of the laptop. You can see here it gives a fairly wide angle view. I have the color kicked off just to add some visual interest to that. But yeah, so you can just hook that up, and if you're using a program like Ecamm, then you can just use your switcher and switch from this from that main camera, which is there, to this camera. All right, let's go to the next camera. Next camera, boom, this one right here. This camera is the Logitech Brio. This is your regular, basic, standard webcam. Many of you already have them. You bought them when you first started trying to do some live stream or some video chatting, and so you have that. And if you hook that up, and if you're using a program like Ecamm, then Ecamm will pick it up in the little switcher, and you'll be able to just switch between cameras like I'm doing now. So you have camera number 1, which is the Canon 80D. You have camera number 2, which is the MacBook Pro camera, and then you've got camera number 3, which is the Logitech Brio. Now, many people, if you're really wanting to get a nice setup, you wouldn't have this Brio placed at this angle. You'd place it probably somewhere else where you're trying to get another angle that really kind of frames your background, frames something else. This is just on a little wire on a dongle, so I've just got it sitting where I've got it here. So maybe you might be doing something like this, but you'd move this big mic out of your way, etc. So that's that's camera number 3. I actually have camera number 4 though. Let's take a look at camera number 4. Boom. All right, now to make camera number 4 really kind of work for you, and work for everybody. I'm going to go ahead and come here, grab my little home app here, and I'm going to kill this ring light, and I'm going to kill this side fill light. So you'll see I'm using 3 lights here, 3 lights in front of me. The 2 on the side have the little soft boxes. This one I could use as a hair light. I'm just not using it tonight. But I have the ring light in front of me. But this is camera number 4. And camera number 4 is my iPhone 11 Pro Max. Didn't spend an extra dime on this camera. For a camera's sake. I bought it for the phone, and of course it had the camera. And so how I'm getting this clean feed, I'm using a $9 app from Elgato, Ecamm. I think I've got that right. I'll put that in the comments below. And you just hook that up, download the app. You pay. There's a free version and there's the paid version. I went ahead and paid the $9 for the app. And what it does is it connects to your Wi-Fi in your house, and it uses an NDI connection. And of course, if you're using Ecamm, it just picks up the NDI signal and it pops up on your screen as a camera and your switcher in Ecamm to be able to switch back and forth. So while I'm here, I'm just going to show you a little bit about what the difference does with some of this lighting. So you'll note, let's go back here now. Let's pop that color in. All right, so you'll see that I'm only using right now 1 light, period. That's the only light that I have on at the desk. It is the left side fill light. And this camera, which camera is this? This is the laptop camera right over here. So that's what you're seeing in the laptop camera. By the way, this is the Logitech Brio, which was the one that was looking up at me. That's that camera. I'm going to switch back to the Brio right quick and show you the setup with the Canon. So the Canon is right behind this teleprompter. So it is right behind that screen. You can kind of see that Tamron lens sitting back there. So the camera sits right back behind that bad boy on that mount. You can kind of see, can you see? You can see just the side of the camera there. So that's what we've got going on. There you go. You can see it better there. So there's the camera. That's the Canon that is sitting at that angle. All right, but I want to get back to the lights right quick. So if I bump over here to the go back to the Canon, watch what happens with the lighting in the Canon. So here, this is why I have those other lights. The other cameras, so I've got the Canon set on manual. So the Canon, unlike the Brio, unlike the MacBook Pro camera, unlike the iPhone camera, is not going to just automatically adjust for the light settings simply because I'm not shooting in an auto mode on this camera, on the Canon. I'm shooting in a manual mode. Otherwise, it would probably do a fairly decent job at adjusting for the low light. So what happens here, I'll show you when I pop those lights back on. It gives me, that's the one side fill, and then the ring light in front of me here, and that's what gives us this picture that we have here. All right, so that's what we've got going on as far as the lighting setup. That's a fairly cheap way to be able to have a multi-camera setup without having to go and buy an extra DSLR or a mirrorless camera and spending another $1,000 on a camera and a lens. You can get pretty decent picture out of the lens that's in your laptop, the lens or the camera that is in your phone. And again, while I've got those lights back on here, just this iPhone picture. I mean, look at that. That's pretty high def. That's actually a very decent picture. And if I were wanting to shoot something this way, I'm going to be curious to see what this looks like. Pop this out of my face. And you see I'm probably fairly decently lit from just the one light. And it's because of how the camera in the iPhone adjusts. You can set this stuff up again, $9 for the app to make the phone a web, to use your phone as a web camera. There are some free apps out there as well that can do a fairly decent job with that. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody. We will work on trying to explain and get some more stuff in front of you in the near future as we continue rolling with this Vlogmas challenge. So I missed a couple of days on my vlogs, on my Vlogmas, so hopefully I'm catching up one day here. This is number 8. I will be at number 9 by tomorrow, so I'll only be one behind. Thank you for sticking by. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, and stay up to speed with what we're doing for the rest of this month. And by the way, I would challenge you, if you've not engaged, if you're thinking about doing vlogs and whatnot, just jump in. Just jump in. You can see my stuff is not perfect. I'm learning as I'm going. I got a lot of stuff to work on. There are people that are putting out some really nice stuff, some really polished stuff, but very few people rather, started out really nice, really polished. They started out doing a little bit and just getting better and better day by day, making mistakes. Some days you feel like you do worse than you did the day before, but that's okay. You get up, you keep going, keeping at it, and I guarantee you the message or whatever it is that you have to share with the world, there are people out there that want to hear it. Work on the skill set, work on it. Use an opportunity like the Vlogmas challenge to be able to hone your skills. Watch some YouTube videos, learn how to use a lot of this equipment, things like this, and I guarantee you'll get better at it. Take care. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.